Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to our Sirian Starseed Traits on the Equinox meditation event. This is the third in our series, after Pleiadian first, and then Andromedan. And we're recording live on the Equinox. And then that recording will be supercharged and available on Facebook and on YouTube for anyone who wants to partake. It seems like the first couple of meditations in this series have been pretty popular on YouTube, I've noticed. Especially the Andromedan one. A lot of times you get more views on the older ones because they've been up there longer, but the Andromedan's really, really been popular, which is nice. Okay. So, let me put some music on here. I don't like the music to compete with the singing bowl. I have enough trouble getting the singing bowl to get picked up on the microphone. But I do like greeting people with that energy, if at all possible. Okay, so I think we should start with just redefining some of the terms we've discussed earlier in the series in case anybody is starting off with this meditation as their first sitting. So obviously the most important thing is a starseed. What is a starseed? And generally it's discussed as being someone who's all their previous incarnations, or at least most of them, have been off-world, off of Earth. Whether they were all in, Sirius, or Arcturus, or anywhere else, or whether they had some in each different star system. Generally, it's someone who's now chosen to be born on Earth to help people in their spiritual growth, help the planet Gaia and all her inhabitants to progress, and not in any pushy way, but being available, being able to answer questions, sometimes just setting examples. So this is the path that's been chosen. Another term quite related is forerunner, and that would be someone who hasn't been born off-world, but through their incarnations here on Earth have grown spiritually so that they can serve a similar purpose. So you find starseeds and forerunners working side by side, hand in hand, all the time, the same goals. Most important, I think, is not to worry too much about the labels, either whether you're a starseed or a forerunner, or whether you're from a particular star system. So, when we go through the traits in a few minutes, you may find certain ones resonating far more than others. Occasionally someone's going to be watching this and they're going to see that all of these traits have matched them exactly, so that makes them feel very confident that they're from that particular star system originally. But I think that you have to remember that we're being born into human bodies, and so there's a good chance we've either had previous incarnations on different systems, or we've just chosen with our free will to act differently than the set list. So enjoy learning of the traits. Enjoy seeing if you've got some from each of the different systems we discuss, but the takeaway is, what is it about this trait that can help you in your spiritual path, your sadhana? And what about these traits will help you out in the real world, in home, at work? And lastly, even if you don't resonate with one of the traits, be aware that what you learn about the traits today and in the other events will give you more understanding and compassion for others who may be exhibiting these traits. You may understand them better as far as why they act a certain way that seems so foreign to you. Very foreign. And it may give you the compassion to not lose your patience and to interact with them with a deeper understanding of where they're coming from and why they might be feeling that way. So, I guess that's a good summary of what this series is all about. Now, let me turn this up a little bit here. Let's start off with a little bit of a breathing exercise, and then we'll get into the specifics for Sirians. We've done this before. I recommend putting your hand on your stomach, either one or both hands on your stomach, and I'll walk you through it first, and then we'll do it all together. So the first step will be to feel your stomach extend outward, and we'll be allowing the diaphragm to drop down. We'll take a series of rapid in-breaths used to fill the lungs as deeply and completely as possible. And then we'll hold for a comfortable count. 1, 2, 3, maybe. Whatever's comfortable. Don't strain. And then feel your hand pushing. You know, you're not really pushing, but you're with your hand, you're feeling the stomach come back in, which will allow the diaphragm to raise and expel all the air from your lungs. And then hold that for a comfortable count. Don't strain. And then we'll repeat. We'll do it all 3 times. Don't worry if you're faster or slower than I am. Just do it at your own pace. And we'll be oxygenating our blood and just getting into a nice state for meditation. So starting now, stomach out, diaphragm down. And then just breathe comfortably. That's what I was missing. There's lots of controls on these pieces of equipment. Okay, so Sirius, the brightest star in our sky, is actually comprised of Sirius A and Sirius B. Sirians are younger than beings from Arcturus and Lyra, but older than beings from the Pleiades and Earth. And they're said to be one of the 4 main races responsible for seeding the Earth. Just like we have different races here on the planet, albeit mostly skin color and skull shape differences, Sirius inhabitants comprise felines, blue-skinned beings, elementals, lions with wings, and even merpeople. So if you happen to spend a lot of lives as one of those particular types of races, you might find yourself quite attracted to things on Earth that you have no other explanation for. You'd imagine merpeople might be very fond of the ocean. Okay. So, if you haven't already, feel free to close your eyes, and we're going to start going through the traits now, and then just listen and decide which of these you resonate with and what you can take away from this. Okay. First trait we're going to discuss is a Sirian Starseed tends to be spiritually driven. And you can see how that would make sense in your spiritual life, how that would be an attribute. Not something you're just dipping your toe into, but rather something you are willing to put in the effort, willing to go the long haul. You're the type that will enjoy a series that meets every week, or a seminar that goes for the whole weekend, because you won't give up, you won't stand back, you won't let it drop. And the same attribute, the same trait, can be applied outside of your spiritual path, if anything was really outside of your spiritual path. In how you relate to work and businesses and business. You may be just as driven in the workplace, but don't lose the word spiritual there, because you're going to be driven in something that you believe is good. You're not going to be, selling scams. You'll sell widgets and you'll be a great widget seller, but as long as you believe that the widgets are something that will help people. You also possess your own truths and live by them unapologetically. I find this to be a good description of sovereignty. You know what is true to you, and you don't waver. Doesn't mean you can't be flexible, doesn't mean you can't evolve, but it means when you have divined set of goals, set of values that you can carry through. It also makes you good at being an example for others, and probably able to explain, answer questions. And the same will go for work. You're not one of the office mates whose loyalties change with the wind. Definitely a good person to have on a team. You can be incredibly focused. This will help you progress rapidly in your spiritual path. Because once you've gotten involved in a program, you're going to dive deep into it, get the most out of it. Same sort of thing, helpful at work. Could be a cause of frustration when others around you are not as focused. But just remember, they have their own traits. You're calm, level-headed, and good under pressure. The spiritual path isn't just limited to being alone and meditating each morning and being focused. You probably are inclined to do it on a regular basis. You can be involved with a meditation group, an ashram, an online gathering. You can be a good leader in these situations, dealing with a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities. You might rise to a leadership position at work also. Because of your ability to stay calm under pressure. I pause for a second to reflect on how different these traits are from the Andromedan ones and even the Pleiadian ones that we've already covered. Nothing about traveling all over the world, for example. You're not willing to wear your heart on your sleeve, being careful with whom you share your feelings. That's because you're aware of how energy is transferred. It's not that you are hiding or suppressing your feelings so much as it is you're exploring them. You're being introspective. You know that whether you're in an ashram and having a meltdown or at work and having a meltdown, it spreads out from you. And being so calm and focused and intense, it can spread pretty dramatically. And so you take responsibility for that, and you explore these feelings. And you can have a couple of good friends. Say you've got one friend in particular that you share as you're going through and working these things out. There's a good chance that they're sharing similarly to you, that's your relationship includes being able to throw ideas and feelings back and forth with each other. And then once you've gotten a hold of it, as it were, of what your feelings are about something, you're able to express them to everyone if need be, but often that will still be limited to a select group with whom you're comfortable sharing such intimacy. But with few exceptions, you're not going to spew your anxiety all around to affect people. Whereas in a day or two that might not be an issue anymore, and you've already done this damage. You have a creative imagination and acceptance of fantastical things. You can imagine how both an imagination and that acceptance can really benefit you at the beginning of your sadhana, because up to this point there's a reasonably good chance you've been taught, Christianity or Judaism or some regimented religion that doesn't really care for ideas outside the box or outside the book. But this imagination, this acceptance of oddities, if you will really allow you to open up and progress into your path and continue. It's always good to evaluate your practice. It doesn't have to be every day, but occasionally. And see what you're experiencing back from that. And that means sometimes you will have gotten involved in this path through a book, maybe through an intellectual approach, and then at some point you're open, because of this trait, you're open to switching to more spiritual, like being in an ashram. You might take advantage of the amazing number of meditation recordings and styles available to us these days. And you can try different things out because of your flexibility here and really accelerate your growth and have a great time doing it. This imagination and acceptance can help you think outside the cubicle also, and allow you to provide that much more worth to your day job. The last trait that's listed here is once you get past their serious exteriors, they are incredibly silly and fun-loving. I don't know. I think that's a perceived serious exterior, and no pun intended on the use of the word serious here. And I think it does reflect on how that earlier point that you'd rather be introspective as you're learning and growing and around new people, because the people you will be sharing with are going to be very good friends, very close family. But yes, there's plenty of opportunity to be a fun person here. The joy one feels as they progress along the spiritual path, with the understanding that sometimes there's triggers and sometimes there's angst. But there's nothing about a Sirian Starseed that won't be able to reflect and grow from each of these occurrences, and then be able to model by example, answer questions, offer teaching, and again with joy. So reflecting on these traits, whether they felt right for you or you recognized co-meditators or co-workers among the list. Let's just enjoy each other's energy, remembering this is being done in the quantum, so we're being joined by hundreds, dozens and hundreds of people that are listening to this not on the equinox. And this is your opportunity to feel their energy and contribute yours. As we listen to the music for a little while. I believe we were joined today by a Sirian guide to whom Tammy introduced me by the name of Te Ana. I have experienced her energy as so sweet and peaceful. So if you think of that name during any replay, it's Te Ana. I'm always interested in any particular traits that participants recognized. And we were blessed today by being able to share energies on the March Equinox. Looking ahead, we've got a full moon on Saturday, April 16th, and then full moon total lunar eclipse on Monday, May 16th. And I'm thinking Arcturus for April and Lyran for May. So carry this energy on with you throughout the day, the week, the month. The equinox peaks, for those attending live, just a little under 2 hours from now. So enjoy the rest of the energy. And thank you for attending when and however you did, and thank yourself, please. With all my love, always. Namaste.